here with Keeping It YYC. Today we're joined by Jillian Lee of Jillian Irene Lee and Associates. How are you today?
I'm super. How are you?
I'm fantastic. Thanks for asking. We'll get right into it and we'll have you tell us a little bit about your business.
Okay. Jillian Irene Lee and Associates is a video production company that was rebranded as Jillian Irene Lee and Associates just this past April. So right in the throes of COVID, which was not the plan. I started a new one-year marketing plan back in November or December that was to launch in April. And we just decided to go ahead with the launch in April, even though I wasn't doing business at that time. Anyways, I've been in video production since 2006 and just recently decided to do a rebrand and focus more on corporate video. I had been specializing in documentary storytelling and contracting my services out to film sets. So I was a contractor rather than a producer, but I'm focusing on producing corporate videos now.
Okay, what was the motivation for going from more film to corporate world in this case? Money. Well then, okay. Very simple.
That's a one-word answer, but I did want to be working more, but unrelated to money. I wanted to be, the reason why I do what I do is because I love to be connected with other people, and I love that every time I go to work, I'm working in a different industry with different people who come from different places, who do different things. So I'm learning every single time I go to work. And I wanted more of that in my life. And so film sets are wonderful, working on scripted or documentary or reality TV or whatever it is. But I wasn't working as much as I wanted to be. So I just decided to become the producer myself rather than waiting to be hired as a crew member on these crews and on these sets. And yeah, so it was actually motivated by wanting to work more and do more of what I love.
Okay, that's great. So a little bit more in control and also a little more variety of different types of people as well in the business world versus in the film world.
Yeah, that's right.
Cool. So my next question is, what are you doing to adapt in this current environment?
I was not able to work for the first couple of months of 2020. When the quarantine started in March, I was just ramping up with the rebranding of my business, and when we were quarantined, the film industry and video production was one that was shut down. It's definitely not an essential service, or my part of it was not an essential service. News delivery certainly was an essential service, but what I was doing was deemed non-essential. So I was not able to work at all for the last few months until stage 2 reopened many businesses. And I prepared for the reopening the whole time that we were closed by focusing on the rebranding and the marketing. And I wrote a business plan for the first time in my life. I've been an entrepreneur almost all of my adult life, all of my career life, and never written a business plan before. So I took the time to write value statements and a business plan and really put all kinds of protocol and processes in place for myself going forward. And then more specifically, in answer to your question, now that we are in stage 2 and able to work with clients again in real life, we are following all of the protocols of the Alberta government. We are reducing our film crews when we go and visit people's offices and homes. We're all wearing, for the most part, double masks. I wear a clear face shield with my fabric mask over my nose and mouth underneath that most of the time, because a film set can be a close proximity, especially if we're interviewing somebody in their office or in their home space. We like to make sure that everybody feels protected by wearing that PPE that's recommended. We are sanitizing and making sure that we're following all the guidelines, and that if anybody feels uncomfortable, we're not moving forward with the project.
Absolutely. Yeah, It seems like an interesting scene to me with the mask. It sounds like a SWAT team almost
Yeah,
around. Gotta be
yeah,
strange for the people that you're shooting the videos of looking at
yeah,
their film crew.
yeah. It's very odd looking. We've taken a couple of behind the scenes photos and it's very strange looking. But you know, if I come in with just the visor down without the face mask on and you see my face first, then I hopefully am disarming people and then putting my mask on once we've introduced ourselves and gotten comfortable with each other.
Mm-hmm. Cool. So my next question is, what can people do right now to support local businesses?
Well, people are in lots of different personal situations right now. There's lots of people who aren't working still, who've had setbacks, and there are others that have worked all the way through. So there's a lot of different things that people can do depending on their situation. I loved that these recommendations came out, sort of flooded Facebook and the social feeds at the very beginning. When this all started in March. If if you're not making any money, don't go into debt by supporting local businesses, but talk about them and engage with them and make sure that you're supporting them with your love and attention. If you don't have a monetary way of supporting them, I think it's super important to support local rather than the big box brands right now. I think a lot of businesses will fail, unfortunately, in the next couple of years. This is going to be a really, really hard hit on small businesses and large businesses alike. But I think the small businesses have more at stake because we're not doing anything but feeding our own families and maybe a few other families of employees or collaborators that we're with. So the stakes seem higher for the smaller companies. And I think that if we lose a lot of small business in Calgary's not going to be the same place that it was.
Mm-hmm. It brings a lot of character to Calgary, the strong entrepreneurial spirit that we have here. So,
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
And then if you're in a position to support people, if you really are in that position to support businesses and people because you've worked all the way through, then get out there, be as safe as you need to be, continue ordering online or doing curbside pickup if that's where your comfort level is, but think about local before anything else.
Yeah, just have it in mind first. Think
Yeah.
first, seek to find a local alternative as opposed to the easy way sometimes is to go on the big online type thing.
Yeah, that's right. And I had a bad habit of, I had an Amazon Prime account and I had a bad habit of just whatever I needed, I got it from Amazon, but I let go of my Prime account just within the last month and have decided to try and get all of the things that I used to buy on Amazon through local vendors, even if I'm still doing it online.
Perfect. I'm going to give you a virtual high five. Let's see how this works.
Yeah, I'm making that commitment now too.
Excellent. That's great to hear.
Yeah.
So the last question I have for you is, are there any tips and tricks you can share in relation to your expertise?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so all of the questions before this, except for maybe the first one, I didn't really talk about what I did. I just talked about small business in Calgary in general. In relation to my expertise, so I am I produce corporate videos. I'm a video producer for small and large companies. I think key for all businesses right now is to continue advertising, to make sure that you do get your name and your brand and your product and your service out there, that people have it on the tip of their brain, on the tip of their lips, that when they're ready to buy something, that you are so in front of their face that they're going to choose you because you've been there all the way through these times. As we all know, everybody's been online so much more, even if it was even fathomable. And businesses have a unique opportunity to get in front of people at really reasonable prices right now. They have captive audiences online. And I think the best thing that you can do for your business right now is make sure people know who you are.
Yeah, it can be a big challenge for a business when they're struggling in order to have that capital and resource put aside to continue with their marketing. On the flip side, it can be a very good time to continue with that marketing because it's less expensive. You have more of an audience. You can eat up potential market share during a time like this. It's just very hard to do so when all the bills keep coming in.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. But there are definitely a lot of ways that you can get your name and your brand out there without spending a lot of money these days too. I mean, it takes time and resources to engage on social media, but you can do that yourself for free. And once your business has grown and you're busy enough that you can't handle it yourself anymore, then outsource it. But you know, there are things that you can do. You can email your customers for free. You can send them notes in the mail for whatever a stamp costs, $1.50. Little treats, $5 coffee cards, some, you know, little treats. I have a realtor. She made jam during quarantine. You know, she's stuck inside. She made cans or jars and jars and jars of jam. And then when she was able, she went around and she personally dropped them off to her whole client list in Calgary. And she had her own little label on it. So every time I look in the fridge, I see her brand and that jam is delicious. And I think about her every time I have a piece of toast. So there's stuff that you can be doing for little or no money until you have the funds to do it. And I would say one thing in regards to money and advertising, you should be spending 10% of your revenue on advertising.
Okay, I haven't heard that as a rule of thumb before.
Yeah, so you know, even if you're bootstrapped, if you have revenue coming in, if your business has revenue coming in, 10% should be going towards promoting more business.
Cool.
Yeah.
That's all great tips, and definitely great to hear a lot of cheap or free things that people can be doing that maybe some people aren't thinking of right now. So
yeah.
Cool. Well, that's actually all the questions that I had prepared for you, Jillian. Of course, I had to screw that up.
It's okay. Either one. You didn't call me Barney, so.
Okay, yeah, that's pretty good then.
You did fine.
So we do ask that you finish the interview or end the interview with us by looking at your camera, stating your name and your business name, and asking people watching to keep it local, keep it YYC.
Okay. Keep it local, keep it YYC. Okay. I'm Jillian from Jillian Irene Lee and Associates. I'm a video production company. I want you guys to keep it local, keep it YYC.